Hi guys, good afternoon. So we're going to be starting a new series by this lady on TikTok who has come to share how her auntie unalived her parents. Okay, I said it that Ifunaya's story is going to unearth a lot of stories, and even though I think this lady's story actually she started sharing her story before Ifunaya, but Ifunaya's own has gone super viral. But I think we need to share this lady's story. We need to all learn. So I want to play, because I'm going to start the series, I want to play the entire, it's very long. Okay, so anytime you watch the video, watch the replay, just know that it is very long. I think it has how many parts? About 5 or 6 parts. Okay, so we're going to be playing it. Good afternoon. Hi, good afternoon. So I don't want us to waste time. We're going to start from part 1, and we're going to listen to the full video, the full everything. Then we'll start breaking down the videos one by one. All right, please like this video. If you want to support the channel, give us a super thanks, super chat, whatever you want to do. Thank you very much. Okay, so let's get started.
This is a story of how my auntie unalived my parents, not physically, but mentally and emotionally. So before I get into the story, I do want to say that I have some receipts and some pictures that I will be inserting throughout this video. So let's start. So both of my parents were born and raised in Ghana, and they initially met, in Ghana in the early 80s. And when they first met each other, I remember them both telling me that they instantly fell in love with each other. So fast forward into a few years, something happened in Ghana. I'm not really going to get into all of that, but something happened in Ghana, and my mum and dad wanted to relocate and, just start fresh, because Ghana wasn't the same Ghana that they grew up, knowing. So, luckily enough for them, well, that's what they thought. My mum had 2 older sisters. I'm going to call them Sister 1 and Sister 2. So, Sister 1 decided to send them an invitation letter to invite them down to London. So, that's what they done. So, everything went through, their documents went through, and they proceeded to go to London. So they arrived in London September 1986, and they moved in with Sister 1. And, when they touched down London, first thing that they done was give up tourism. So, they went to central London, went to Buckingham Palace, Trafalgar Square, etc.
Thank you for liking the live stream. Thank you.
That was the first time that my mum has ever travelled. My dad has travelled previously because he was a soldier when he was in Ghana, so he travelled when he was in the army, so travelling was new to him. But for my mum, it was very exciting, like, wow, she's in London. So now it's been a year since my mum and dad are living with Sister 1, and she is in a serious relationship now, and her partner decides to move in with her. So now, you can imagine 4 grown adults sharing, a small space. It wasn't ideal for both my parents plus Sister 1. So Sister 1 and my mum and dad decided to, ask Sister 2 if my mum and dad could move in with her, because it was literally just her and her daughter at that time. Now she has 4, but at that time it was just her and her daughter. So Sister 2 was like, yeah, why not?
Please like the live stream, guys.
So my mum and dad moved in with Sister 2. So things were going well, Sister 2 and my mum catching up. Everything's going well. By the way, guys, I'm not going to be saying Sister 1, Sister 2 anymore, because Sister 1 is now out of the picture.
Thank you.
My auntie or my mum's son, so that you don't get confused. So now my mum and dad have been in London for a while now, just over a year, and they're starting to get a bit bored Now, obviously, when they was in Ghana, they was always busy. Like I said, my dad was in the army, so he was always on his feet.
Thank you
My
so
mum didn't
much.
really work, but she would accompany her siblings and sometimes go to the farm, so she was always busy. So, you know, it was a big culture shock for the both of them, I would say. So, yeah, they decided to have a talk with my auntie and see if they can start work. So they had that conversation with my auntie, and the first thing my auntie said is, basically my auntie laughed in their face first and said, do you know what it takes to work in London? And obviously they didn't know none wiser, and she said, you are illegal immigrants and you don't have the status to work in the UK, so if you want to work, you would need to, require documents to work. So obviously my mum and dad were oblivious to how they can obtain all of that, and she came up with the idea of getting fake identities in order for them to work. So now the names that they used to work, they weren't actually fake, they were actually real people. So the name that my dad used was my mum's older brother's name because he already had his status within the UK. And the name my mum used was her brother's wife's name. So yeah, they used that and they managed to get jobs. So my mum was working as a cleaner for an airport, and my dad managed to get a cleaning job for a cleaning company. So they were both excited. They were like, yes, they're finally, getting somewhere. They're gonna achieve their goals. One of their goals was to buy a property and, to move out of my auntie's house. So, working hard, saving their money, and this is where hostility starts and jealousy started with my auntie. So my auntie started seeing that they're earning, small money because my dad would offer to do shopping for the house, and he would give my auntie small money here and there, to pay for a small bill here or a bill there. So she was raising an eyebrow these people have just come to the UK and now look at them. So she started acting weird towards them. I remember my mum used to say to me that she would try and spark up conversations with her sister, and her sister would just flatline ignore her. She would just ignore her. She would not even acknowledge that my mum's talking to her. I remember my dad would tell me that there were times where she would just make little arguments with them. But upon all of this, they did not retaliate. My dad ignored it. And, they just continued to put their head down and work hard. So I believe it was a year or two that has passed. My dad managed to get him a really good job as an underground train driver. To be honest with you, I'm not making no excuses for my parents, but back in those days, a lot of Africans will come down to the UK,
yeah.
and because they thought that the UK was a land of opportunity.
Please like the live stream, guys.
Down and obtain fake identities to work. It wasn't a new thing. A lot of people were doing that. So my dad managed to get him a really good job as an underground train driver, and honestly, my mum and dad were thrilled because they were like, yes, we're one step closer to our goals, to our dreams, and that was really important. And the focus for my dad really was to get out of my auntie's house because he really could not take the hostility, because my dad does not like hostility. He was such a friendly person. If you really knew him, he was so down to earth. So yeah, I'm just going to fast forward a little bit because there's a lot to this story. So I remember a time my dad told me that he was at work and he came back home and he went into his bedroom and he noticed that certain things had been moved around. Things like his letters, amongst the letters was his pay slips, and he believed my auntie, was the only culprit to do that. So he didn't say nothing, he just kept his head down, and he said to me it was like she wanted him to know she was snooping through his things. why, I don't know, but you know, those were some of the things that she would do, going through my dad's stuff, like just checking like how much he's getting paid and things like that. It was weird. It was very, very weird. But God being so good, they managed to get enough money to, you know, buy their first property, and that property was in Mitcham, which is in South London. So now the next thing that they had to do was sit my auntie down and tell her that, you know, they found someone and they want to move out. As you can imagine, my auntie didn't take it really well. She said to my parents that they're very ungrateful of
Why?
she's done for them. But you know, my parents took every insult, everything that she said to them, and just said thank you, just thank you for everything you've done, basically, and do things. So they left and, you know, moved out and started their life, you know. Now they've achieved getting their property, their next step was to start a family. So my mum and dad trying, you know, very hard to conceive, and unfortunately my mum suffered 2 miscarriages before she actually conceived me. So now she's pregnant with me, they're ecstatic, they're happy, everything's going, you know, right in their lives right now. So at this point, my parents and my auntie have not spoken. They do not speak. They've literally just gone their separate ways. That's it. So yeah, fast forward, my mum's, you know, at the last stage of her pregnancy, so she's in her 3rd trimester, and you know, one day they're chilling at home, and my dad said there was a massive knock at the door, like boom, 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 and his heart just stopped. He was like, they're not expecting anybody, like no one really knows where they live. Yeah, so he was scared. So he literally got up. So as my dad was about to open the door just literally pushed him back.
Wow.
Who was it? It was police.
Wow.
Police, we're looking for fathers upon police.
No way.
He was scared. He was like, oh, it's me, like, what's going on? So the police was like, oh, Mr. Upon, you've been arrested for, you know, dishonesty, obtaining a property by deception or something along them lines. I can't really remember what it was. But, yeah, my dad was so scared. He was frightened. My mum, heavily pregnant, was in tears, like, just scared. They were both scared. So as the police officer was about to take the handcuffs and put it on my dad was like, whoa, wait, let's talk about this, let's try and resolve this. But no, the police officers was not having none of it, and they literally slammed my dad down. And as the police officer slammed my dad down, he sprained his arm and he sustained a few injuries as well. It was really, really hectic for my parents. So yeah, both of my parents were arrested, you know, for that charge, and they were both taken away to prison. So my dad was taken to Wormwood Scrubs.
Her parents were taken to prison.
Taken to Holloway female prison, and I believe that closed down in 2016 actually. So yeah, my dad spent 6 weeks at Wormwood, and my mum spent 3 weeks at Holloway. So whilst they were in prison, my mum and dad used to always write to each other, especially my dad. And my dad used to write to my mum more, you know, checking on her well-being, checking on the pregnancy, how I'm doing. Mind you, my mum was a month away from giving birth because, you know, she was in prison in October and gave birth to me in November. So yeah, this was all happening whilst my mum was in a vulnerable state. So you can imagine her state of mind. You know, even my dad, like, not getting to physically hold his wife, talk to his wife, you know, see the development, the growing of the bump, even though it's the last trimester, like every little thing counts. So yeah, in one of the letters, my dad wrote to my mum and said that he found out who was behind all of this, because basically my mum and dad managed to get lawyers when they were in prison, and my dad's lawyer obviously had to get all the witness statements and stuff like that for the case. And the first witness statement information back to my dad and told him all the names that was involved. And yeah, my dad was in shock. He was in utter shock.
Let me pause it. There's nobody that will hear this story and not be in shock. Let me just greet. Hello, Vico Real Space. Thank you so much for joining the live stream. Thank you so much. Thank you. I appreciate this lady. We are going to continue playing it. Please like the live stream, guys. Her auntie, her mother's sister, set up her parents. They came to the UK, even though they were illegal immigrants. The auntie, suggested, oh, let me slow down my pace, let me not, suggested that they should use fake identities to work. They were living with her. When they started working and started contributing to the household, thank you for liking the live stream, guys. Please like the live stream, engage in the comment section, okay? Thank you. All right, so when they started contributing to the affairs of the house and all of that, auntie was angry. She was angry. And it's funny because other people want people who, if you are staying with somebody, they want you to contribute. Like, you cannot just be using my electricity and all of that and not be a contributing member of the household. Abi, what do you guys think? Is that not how normal human beings behave? But in the case of her auntie, she was angry that they were able to contribute to the welfare of the household. So long story short, the father finally got a good job. They were able to gather money and buy a house in London. When they went to meet the auntie to tell her that we've gotten a house, so we want to move to our own place, so the auntie said they were ungrateful. I don't want to go into analysis of this story because we're going to do that later. I just want us to watch the video. Finally, the auntie went to report them to the UK authorities that they were using a false identity, dishonesty, and all of that, and they arrested her mom and her dad. Let's continue listening to the story.
Tells my mom that so-and-so was behind it. My auntie was behind it due to her jealousy of them purchasing the house, and he would never ever forgive them. Like, he would never ever forgive them. But not only that, my auntie got others involved, and those others were, friends. My parents thought they were their friends involved, so it was like a little ring of them, and my auntie was the ringleader. So yeah, it was very, very devastating for my parents to know that, my mom's own sister could do this to her and her husband. Not only that, but my dad managed to get, my auntie's witness statement. I would insert it in this video, but the only problem is it is very, very old. Like, the writing, you can't really see the writing, it's all faded. But yeah, I do have it. So now at this point, both of my parents' mental health were declining, especially my mum's, and things were just getting worse and worse. And my mum, 3 weeks came up, and my mum finally got released. And literally a few days later, my mum gave birth to me. And I'm gonna end it here. Stay tuned for part 2.
Okay, let's go to part 2. I think I would increase the speed of the video so that
of how my auntie unalived my parents, not physically but mentally and emotionally. So now my mum's been released and she has nowhere to go because obviously they've taken the house from my mum and dad. So now my mum is homeless. She has little money left, so she decides to get on the bus and just take it to the bus stop. She has no plans on what to do. Obviously, she has no one to talk to, no one to reach out to.
please like the live stream, guys.
She kept doing that for a couple of hours. now it's time for her to get checked over. So the midwife checks her over, and she wasn't exactly at the 4 centimeters dilation point, but her vitals were very high. So, for example, her blood pressure, etc. So because of that, they had to admit her into hospital. And 2 days later, that's when she gave birth to me. She had a C-section. She had to stay in the hospital for up to a week with me. So that was the case. So once the week came up, my mum and myself was discharged. So after she got discharged with me, she still had, the keys to the property. Remember, they've taken the property away from her, so she couldn't go back there. But she still had the keys, and she's just given birth. She has nowhere to go. It's winter. It's cold. So what does she do? She ends up going to the property. So she puts the key through to see if it still works.
The door will open.
They haven't changed the locks. So now she's put the key through the door, and the key still works. The door's open. But as you can imagine, there's no gas. There's no electric. The house is freezing. Like I said, it was winter times, and my mum had no money, and obviously she had to feed me. She couldn't breastfeed me because she wasn't really eating herself, so she couldn't really produce breast milk. So what she done was she got a crisis loan, and a crisis loan is something that they used to do back in the days where they give you emergency money if you're in a vulnerable state or if you're a vulnerable person. So that's what my mum done, and she received £10, and that £10 had to sustain her for a while. So she couldn't actually buy me a full bill because that was expensive. So what she decided to do was buy me baby food. You can imagine, I'm a newborn baby. I have 3 kids myself. I'm a mother myself. All the mothers out there, you know that you can't give food or baby food to a newborn. Like at that stage, it's literally only milk. They can't even drink water. So yeah, that's what she was feeding me. Remember, no electric, no gas, so she couldn't even warm up the food to give me. So she was literally feeding me cold baby food out of the jar. So one evening, my mum said she felt so low, so vulnerable. She felt like she wasn't herself, so she literally put me in a sling and left the house. She got on a bus, and once again, she just kept going to the last stop, getting another one, going to the last stop, until she just felt so low about herself that she just didn't want to be here anymore. She just wanted to end it, because what is she really living for? And that was her frame of mind at that time. She started walking towards a busy road, and a lady from afar could see my mum. So the lady saw my mum from afar, and she noticed that my mum wasn't in the right state of mind just from her body language.
Yeah.
So as my mum was approaching the road, the lady literally...
Please like the live stream, guys. Thank you.
started to say everything as if this lady that my mum said she just had no one to talk to, so she literally just vented everything out. So the lady was so lovely to my mum. She got my mum a bed and breakfast for that night, and in my room, my mum told me that she followed the lady and sorted emergency accommodation out, and the other lady just helped her so much. So once all of that was sorted and she moved into the emergency accommodation, she said it was very lonely. It was very, very lonely. She was so scared. She had no one to talk to. But luckily enough, my dad's lawyer found a way to communicate with my mum. I'm not sure how though. I don't remember my mum telling me how that happened. But the lawyer found a way to communicate with my mum, and my dad and my mum got into communication again. So a few weeks later, my dad was released from prison, and he joined my mum and myself at the emergency accommodation. So now they are back to square one. Things are just looking so low for them, so dark for them. And honestly, my dad was a fighter, but honestly, that took a lot out of him. And that's when the beginning of him having trust with people started. So yeah, they was building their life slowly. I'm just going to fast forward a bit.
Sorry, guys. The story, it is a whole lot. Like, it is a whole lot.
There's so much to this story. But yeah, they were building their life slowly. From emergency was temporary accommodation. And I believe it was the second temporary accommodation that we had is when my mum and dad gave birth to my brother. And after that, we moved into our permanent. I believe I was at like 11 or 12. I can't remember the age that I was when we settled into our permanent accommodation. But yeah, we finally settled into our permanent accommodation. And that's when my parents were like, listen, no more bad luck, no more negativity. We're gonna strive, we're gonna do it. And that's when my dad decided to go back.
Okay, so they're out of prison, and after all her auntie had done to her parents are like, okay, we're not going to dwell on the negativity, we're not going to dwell on all that has happened in the past. Excuse me, let me take water. We're not going to dwell on all that has happened in the past. Please like the live stream, guys. Can I say? We're not going to dwell on all that has happened in the past. We're going to forge ahead.
Education and study to become So my dad, achieved that, and he started as a mental health nurse. I believe he started in 2005. Yeah, I believe he started as a mental health nurse in 2005. And once again, my dad is a hard worker, so he put his head down, working hard, just trying his hardest to get back on track. So now things are looking up, and my dad is sending money back home to Ghana and building his property out there, because obviously his retirement plan is him and my mum retire and go back to Ghana and just live life. So he was sending money home back to Ghana and get his house built, and he built a lovely 5-bedroom bungalow in Ghana.
To the house her father built. Hey! Wait, oh! Hey! I said I don't want to talk yet. After her auntie snitched on her parents, they were arrested by the British authorities. They did not quarrel with her because obviously they are very good people. They moved on with their life. Please like the live stream, guys. Let us like this. If you're watching the replay, like this video right now. Give it a thumbs up, okay? So her dad was able to build a bungalow in Ghana, okay, and they were doing well for themselves. Where are we? Hey guys. I think I've passed all these places.
Hospital. Obviously, I was a teenager around that time, so I wasn't really coping with all of this too well. So I would try my best to stay out as much. My brother was 7 years younger than me, so he had no choice but to stay at home. So he witnessed a lot of my mum going in and out of hospital. So it was a normal day, and usually my mum calls back home to Ghana to speak to her family, especially her niece. So this niece, her mum is my mum's older sister. That's another sister of my mum's, but she passed away a few years ago. So yeah, she called, was speaking to her niece as usual, but then this conversation was kind of different. So my mum's niece suggested that she would love to donate a kidney to my mum, and honestly, my mum was overwhelmed. She was shocked. Someone loves her so much to donate a kidney. She was honestly so overwhelmed. They have a really good relationship because my mum and dad, looked after her growing up, and my dad also put all of her kids through school, was paying their school.
So her cousin volunteered to donate kidney to her mother. They didn't ask how, she volunteered.
Please, so they really had a strong relationship. My mum's niece, called my mum, called my dad. She even changed her surname to my dad's name, so there was a lot of love there. So my mum thought anyways. She didn't give an answer straight away when she spoke to my niece that day, but what she did say is that she will speak to my dad and then come back to her about it, and also she does need to discuss this with my niece's mum as well. So now she's gone away and started discussing this with my dad. My dad was very hesitant. Would you blame him, considering what my auntie done to him, So he was very hesitant, but my mum spoke him round, and in the end he accepted and went with it. Then they also spoke to my cousin's mum, and she gave the thumbs up and was like, yeah, she accepts. So yeah, they started the process, and I believe the NHS, was involved as well, and they offered her a medical visa to come to London to do the transplant for my mum. So once everything went through, all the documents went through, she came to London in the year of 2010. So when she arrived, everything was well. I could see my mum being happy, smiling, and my mum and dad knew that when someone comes from abroad and the tourism, they've done all the tourism that they can, they start becoming bored because they've been through it. So they decided to get a job for my cousin, and my cousin is a really good hairdresser back in Ghana because she went to hairdressing school. That's something that my mum and dad put her through. And there was a hair salon at the bottom of my mum and dad's road. My mum and dad knew the owner very, very well, and my dad decided to have a talk with the owner. Was like, listen, my niece has come from Ghana, and she just wants to do a little part-time job, just to earn a little bit of money so she's able to send money back home to her 3 kids. So the owner was like, oh yeah, fine, why not? Then she started working at the hair salon. salon. So now, you know, everything's going well, everything's going fine. So now this is where things started changing. At first, when appointments was being made, my cousin would follow, you know, my mum, go for the checkups. You know, everything was going fine until one day she started slacking. So when it was time for an appointment or whatever, my cousin would be like, oh, my body hurts, or I've got a headache, or, you know, she's just slacking. But my mum didn't really say anything. What she did say is to my cousin that is she sure that she really wants to do it? If not, she's not going to be upset, she's not going to be angry. She should just let her know. So then one day came and we got a letter through the post, and it was a letter from St. Helens Hospital stating that my cousin has been here for a while and her medical visa is running out, and it looks like she's not willing to do the procedure, so it's time for her to go back to Ghana. And if she refuses, then they're deporting her back. So she's read this, mum and dad have, like, everyone's reading it. So my mum looks at her and says, this is the outcome, we have to start getting ready for you to go back to Ghana. And then this is when things went left. My cousin's attitude started changing, like, slowly. So she would be coming home late from work, and mind you, the salon to my mum's house is like a 3-minute walk, if not that. Do you get what I'm saying? So there was no excuse to be coming home like an hour late or an hour half late. So, but my mum and dad, they didn't really say nothing. They were thinking, do you know what? She could have made friends at, you know, the hair salon. So let's not really think too much into it. Until one day, my mum had a dream where I believe a dog bit her leg. I think it was a dog that bit her left leg, to be precise. I want you guys to remember the left leg, right? Okay. So she had a dream, a dog bit her left leg, and she woke up with a massive scream. And when she woke up, there was a bite on her left leg. It's crazy, I know, but there was actually a bite on her left leg. And I remember from there on, my mum started having really bad pains in her leg. Jesus. And my mum will be laying.
Her mom had a dream that a dog bit her left leg. After she had that dream, after she woke up from the dream, the mom started having issues with the left leg.
Down on the living room floor, and me, my brother, my dad, my cousin, and my first son, we would all be in the living room, and my mum would be in pain. We're all like, oh mum, oh, that, rubbing her. My cousin will be sitting there like this. No flinch and nothing. She wouldn't even acknowledge my mum like she was in pain. Nothing, guys. Honestly. So anyways, that would happen. And then one day now, it was time for her to come home from work. And an hour turned into 2 hours turned into 3 hours turned into 4. By the time we blinked, it was 12 midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning. She's nowhere to be found. In that time frame, my dad has gone to the salon like 5 times. Do you get what I'm saying? And the people in the salon are saying, oh, she left time ago. Like, she left time ago. Anyways, now, we've all gone to bed, woken up, she's still not back. So my mum and dad now are getting worried because obviously she's in their care. My mum and dad are calling around, panicking, no one knows where she is, things aren't looking good. So now I'm going to fast forward a little bit. So a few months, I believe it was like 7-8 months down the line after my cousin disappeared, it was me and my dad and my son at home. I was literally washing my son's bottles in the kitchen, and in my mum and dad's house where the kitchen is, there's a window, and that window you can see outside. So I could see people circling my dad's car. It was 2 men and 1 woman, just circling my dad's car, just, you know, looking very suspicious, but they wasn't in uniform.
It's like the live stream, guys.
Clothes. And then I saw that they started approaching the front door. So as they were about to approach the front door, I called to my dad because my dad was upstairs getting ready I was saying, oh, Dad, there's a few people circling your car. The doorbell went. So I went to go and open the door. They were like, hi, we're looking for Francis Upon. And I'm like, oh, who are you? And they were like, oh, is he in? And then I'm like, Daddy, someone's looking for you. So he's come down the stairs now. They're like, hi, are you Francis Upon? And he was like, yeah, I'm Francis Upon. And they were like, sir, you're under arrest.
Jesus Christ.
And human trafficking of body parts. And honestly, I just wanted the
Hey!
to swallow me whole. Like, anyways, I'm gonna end it here. I'll be dropping part 3.
Hey. Wait. Did you guys hear that? Our cousin, please like the live stream, guys, that came from Ghana, that volunteered herself and said, oh, my auntie, I want to help you with your kidney problem. Let me donate my kidney to you. They now brought her to Ghana, to the UK, got a job for her. So she will go out and not come back on time. They didn't find it suspicious. Then one day, random day, police officers came. Okay, no, she said whenever the mom is having issues with her leg, we mentioned it earlier on, and they are all trying to ensure that the mom is okay. She won't do like she won't acknowledge the mom or what the mom is experiencing. She'll act aloof. But they didn't take it as anything. And this video is not about analyzing, but hey, things they play, oh, things are happening. Hey, let's continue. What part are we in now? Part 3.
Part 3 of how my auntie unalived my parents. Not physically, but mentally and emotionally. So after my dad got arrested and put in handcuffs, I literally was walking around like a headless chicken, like shaking. And I remember they said something into their radio, and I just see a police van pull up and put my dad in the car, literally go off. So I was like, what in the is going on? So then I've got my phone, I've managed to, calm myself down, and I've called my mum. At this time, my mum, she was at dialysis. So I've called her and I've told her everything, and she's panicking. She's like, oh my gosh, like what? Who would have accused Daddy of doing this? Like, yeah, it was just, it was crazy. So anyways, now I said to my mum that I'm going to come down to the hospital, and then after her dialysis treatment, we go to every police station near us and try and get to the bottom of this. So I've put my son in his jacket, I've got myself ready, and we've gone to the hospital to go meet my mum. So met up with my mum now, and gone to each and every police station that we can think of near us, and no one is telling us anything. We don't know where my dad is. We're literally just panicking, and my mum was like, she's tired, and I could understand, because she's literally just on a 4-hour treatment of dialysis. She hasn't rested. I've just thrown this in her lap. So yeah, we went home and we was just waiting for hours and hours. Then the key, we heard it turn, and my dad just looked so deflated. He looked like, I don't know. Yeah. It was hard. It was really, really difficult. Like, seeing my dad anything like that. So yeah, he's come in now, and my mum's instantly said, "What's going on? What happened?" And then my dad was like, "So and so," meaning my mum's niece, my cousin, is the one that has accused me of this. And honestly, the silence in that room was heavy. It was very, very heavy. And then I remember thinking in my head, like, why would she do that? Like, what on earth would come over after everything my parents has done for you? Your kids. Why on earth are you going to do that? Anyways, now, so the next day came and my dad was getting ready for work. So as he got to work, his line manager pulled him aside, and this is where things just turned left. Pulled him aside and said, police have, called and informed us of what's going on. And unfortunately, this is a serious matter, and they have to suspend my dad. So my dad was gutted. He was devastated.
Anybody
He couldn't
will.
understand why this was happening. So he's been suspended now, and things are not looking good. He's having meetings with his work, and his work is saying that unless, he's found not guilty, he's not coming back to work. So, yeah. And, going back and forth to this trial, to the courts, it was a lot. It was a lot. And I remember my dad saying to me that one time when he was on his way to his court hearing, he saw my mum's sister, yes, my auntie. He saw her standing at the entrance of that court. He put 2 and 2 together, and that 2 and 2 equaled what?
4.
4.
Yeah.
He said, what?
She was behind
He
it.
said, this is making sense now. This is all making sense. Anyways, now, he was going back and forth to his court hearings and everything. Honestly, within that time frame, my dad's mental health declined drastically. He was in and out of the GP. He was diagnosed with depression, and honestly, it was so hard to see because with African men, they don't usually talk about their feelings, like they will internalize everything, and that is what my dad done. He internalized every single thing that my auntie and my cousin put him through, that it essentially, it unalived him. The hurt, the pain, it literally was destroying his heart. So anyways, now, after, fighting this case, the case was dismissed. My dad was found innocent. Thank God, because every time my cousin said that my dad, he was at work,
Jesus.
or he was either picking up my mum from dialysis.
Hey.
You see how God works?
Yes.
Because the police had to get all of his work schedule, timetable, every single footprint of my dad.
Thank God for a system that works.
And none of it was equaling to what my cousin was
saying.
That was happening. So the judge was like, let's throw this out, man, wasting our time. And because of that, my cousin was going to get deported to Ghana. But what did she do? She faked insanity. And then she had to stay. She had to stay in the UK. And you know what gets on my nerves? She's able to get on with her life. live in the UK whilst my dad had to start all over again. So yeah, my dad was able, to go back to work, but at a different branch. Even though the case was dismissed, even though he was found innocent, that tarnished his reputation. Like everywhere he went, it just tarnished his reputation. And honestly, it broke my dad. It broke my dad. It broke my dad to the point, that I never saw my dad happy again. Like he was always snappy, and he just was not himself anymore. So after everything, my dad, wanted a break. He literally wanted a break from everything, and in 2015, he decided to take us all to Ghana. So we went to Ghana, and time was had. Like we had a really good time. We literally forgot about everything, that was happening in London. But no, things always have to find their way, to follow us. So we've gone to go and see my mum's family now, and all my mum's cousins and her siblings are all shocked, like you're walking, like, oh my gosh, you look good, like, all of us were like, what is going on, like, why is everyone acting all shocked? Until my mum's cousin called her into, their rooms. I was like, can we see if it's your real legs? And my mum was so confused, but she lifted, because she was wearing a long skirt, and she lifted her skirt up, and she's like, yeah, look, they're my legs.
Jesus.
So they both screamed. They were like, hey, so it's not true. And my mum was like, what's not true?
Thank you for
They
liking your
said
live stream.
My mum's sister, my auntie, she started spreading around the family that my mum's leg was amputated.
Jesus
And this was in
Christ.
2015. So remember what I've just said to you. She has told my mum's family, their family, that my mum is very sick. My mum is not able to walk, and they've resorted to amputating her legs.
Jesus.
Right?
Please let this I can't analyze here. I just want us to watch this thing. I'm going to do the analysis. I'm going to take my time to do the analysis, precept upon precept, line upon line. But the world is a wicked place, so you can't be naive. You can't be naive. You can't be naive. Jesus. Let's continue listening.
So we're all in shock, like, what is this woman's problem? Like, isn't she tired? Because me, I'm even tired.
Somebody that is a witch.
What does she want?
Person when be witch.
Anyways, now,
Oboloku, Azen,
our holiday,
Aje.
we carried on. We come back now, and we have to get back to reality. My mum's going dialysis, it's back to normal. So fast forward to 2019 now, my mum started feeling, some pains in her left leg, and then those pains started turning into different symptoms, and then her left leg unfortunately got infected. So her left leg, when it was getting infected, it was turning really black. So from her feet all the way up to below the knee, it was just all black. And obviously the doctors was like, listen, it's either we have to take your leg or you will lose your life. And I remember the first thing that came to my head when I heard the amputation was 2015. Aunty said amputation. Oh my gosh, like so many things was just going through my head.
Your head.
At that precise time. I was shaking. I was like,
Hey.
so yeah, my mum had to get an
Household
amputation,
evil.
and they amputated
Household
her
wickedness.
leg below the knee. So after the operation, now they've had to cut above the knee. So now they're doing a second procedure above the knee. And this is where the doctor pulled my dad aside and was like, "So listen, this is a 50-50 chance because, this is,
Please like the live stream.
amputating the same area again twice, if that makes sense." So, I remember my dad, me, my brother were in the corridor. My dad was worried, like the colour in his face was all drained, like we was just all nervous. But at that time, all I just kept thinking of was 2015 amputation, Aunty, 2015 amputation, Aunty. That's all that kept coming to my head. So, anyways, my mum's second procedure went really well, thank God, and she started her rehabilitation process, and that was so hard. Like, imagine seeing your mum being able to now be disabled. Like, it was just, it mentally messed me up around that time. Like, it was so hard. And then, my mum having to relearn everything again, and, trying to process her new life, or it was so difficult. Like, my dad having to try and pick my mum up now, put her in her wheelchair, or move her from her wheelchair to the bed. Like, it was just so much on my dad, like so much. But my dad was such a trooper. He never gave up, and he stuck with my mum. Like, he done well. He done really, really well. But yeah, so fast forward once again, they're getting on with their new normal life now, or should I say, we're all as a family trying to get on with our new normal life, helping out our mum, trying to sort things out. So it's the year 2020, you guys know what happened. It was COVID, the whole world went into lockdown, and no one was allowed out.
Okay. Are we back live? Hi. Oh, the battery's on. Hold on, guys. Let me charge my phone. Please like the live stream. Okay.
It made me start thinking and reminiscing about, family, and me not talking to my cousins, meaning my aunties' children. So I decided to send a DM to my boy cousin. So I've sent him a long DM, just telling him that I've watched this documentary, it's got me thinking, life's too short, etc., etc., right? He responds, and the conversation's flowing, and then he says that he will get back to me with the date where we can all have, a Zoom meeting to sort things out. So, we left it on a positive note, so I thought, and I'm still waiting till this day for this Zoom meeting to happen. I understand why it was a Zoom meeting then, because it was COVID times, but now we don't need to be doing Zoom meetings. Like, I'm not living 6 hours away, like, we're literally minutes apart, do you understand? But anyways, that's another story. So around that time too, I sent the same message I sent to my boy cousin to my girl cousin, and
You know why you're looking for a relationship with
conversation
them.
was flowing. We was getting to know each other again. She told me that she gave birth, what her daughter's name was, and all of that. It was really nice. I can't really remember how it ended, but I will insert the screenshots. But what I remember is I got left on red. I think I didn't even get a response back after a while. But yeah. Anyways, now moving on. A year later, which is 2021. One day, fast forwarded to the year of 2021, January. It was a normal day. My dad was taking my mum to her normal checkup. dad didn't have work, so he decided to take my mum to her appointment. So whilst they were at the appointment, or just before the appointment finished, sorry, I tried to call my dad, but he didn't pick up. So I left it for like 5 minutes, and then I called my mum, and then my mum said to me, "Oh, we've just had my appointment. Daddy's about to put me in a car, and we're coming home. So when I get home, I'll call you, and then you and the kids can come round." So I was like, "All right, cool, that's fine. Sounds like a plan." So now an hour's passed, an hour and a half's passed, and I'm like, I haven't heard from my mum what's going on, and she usually is really good with her timekeeping. So I've called my mum now, and like, "Mummy, I'm still waiting." And she was like, "Chris, I'm still waiting in the car." And I'm like, "Okay, so where's Daddy?" She was like, "He's put me in a car, and he said he's going to use the toilet, and I'm still here." And I said, "So haven't you called him?" She was like, "I've called him, he hasn't picked up." So I'm like, this is unlike Daddy. So I'm like, "All right, cool, let me try and sort this out." Got off the phone to work, trying to call my dad, he's not picking up. Calling him again, he's not picking up. So I'm like, this is unlike him, what's going on? Like, you know, Mummy's vulnerable, why would you leave her in a car? It's winter, it's January, come on, you know, UK weather. So now I said to myself, let me call my brother, because at that time my brother was working like 5-10 minutes away from St. Helens Hospital. So I've called him now, explained everything to him, and he said, "You know what, I'm going to go and see what's going on." So he's got into the car park now. My mum's explained everything to him, and he said, "All right, cool, let me go and find the security guard, and let's try and locate where Daddy is." So my brother's security guard, they've done all of that. They can't find my dad. Time's passing, it's like 4, getting to 5 now, and you know, it's cold. So my dad had the key, so obviously my brother couldn't take the car, so we had to leave my dad's car unlocked at St. Helens Hospital car park. My brother got a Uber for my mum to go home, and he followed behind in his car. So now they've got into my mum's house now, and I've literally met them there, because I live a road away from my parents' house at that time. So I've gone to meet them now, and we're all confused. We're like, what happened? I even said to my mum, "Mummy, like, are you telling me the truth?" She's like, "Chris, what have I got to lie about?" So anyways, now time's passed. I think it was like an hour has passed. We hit the doorbell has rang. I've opened the door, and it's 2 police officers. So in my head, I'm like, what is going on? And literally, what has he done? Because at this point, I'm tired of seeing police. I'm tired of them accusing my dad of things. Like, I'm tired. Anyways, now police were like, "Hi, is this a residence of us?" I'm like, "Yes, it is." Then they proceeded to say, "Can you tell the children to go upstairs?" Which was my 2 kids, my son and my daughter. So I was like, "All right, cool." My brother took them upstairs, and then they dropped the worst news ever. They said, "Unfortunately, we found Francis upon in the toilet."
So sorry. Please like the live stream, guys. Jesus.
So my dad was in there for 4 hours, like, whilst I was panicking, even getting angry at the fact that he's left my mum. He was there on the toilet floor in the hospital, unalived. Do you know? Anyways, so I let out the biggest scream ever. I've experienced someone that I love die, so that was my first ever experience. So, like, I went through a roller coaster of emotions, like, in the space of 5 minutes. I screamed, I was all over the place.
Please like the live stream, please.
I remember calling my cousin from my dad's side, and just saying to her, "Listen, this is what's happened," and she's crying. It was very traumatizing. I remember my mum sitting there saying, "No, it's not true." No, it's not true. That's the noise she was doing. Like, if you're Ghanaian, you will understand that noise. Like, she was like, no. She said she would never believe it until she sees that it's him. Obviously, she couldn't go to my dad. I had to go and identify my dad, and that was so scary. Like, I was shaking. Like, it was so, seeing my dad in that state and knowing my dad to be a strong man, like, but yeah, I identified his body, and I said, yeah, that's my dad. And they gave me his things, and I drove his car back home, and that car journey felt like 2-3 hours, and was only like a 30-minute drive. But it was so, I felt so low. Honestly, in that moment, I wanted to drive to my auntie's house. I wanted to just take everything.
It's not a physical fight, my sister.
Was the reason.
I know, you are right.
Why my dad is no more.
You are right.
After all the heartache, after all the suffering my dad went through because of her lies, because of my cousin's lies.
They are witches now.
Both of them.
They are witches, are
That's the reason why my dad is no more.
spiritual wickedness.
Mentally and emotionally unalive.
Spiritually, which one you dey talk? I beg.
The week of my dad's passing, I was going through his things, like his paperwork and just stuff, to start arranging things for the funeral. And then I came across like a massive pile of, receipts, stories that, that he's been telling me throughout, my life. So I was reading it, and then, emotions were starting to build up within me, because obviously everything that my mum and dad have been telling me, I'm now seeing it in front of me, and yeah, I was upset, I was angry, so I decided to send a message to my girl cousin, and I said to her, listen, I'm just so disappointed in you and your siblings and how you guys are just managing this whole situation. All me and my brother want is just for us to meet up and just talk things through and just be grown about this, This is not our beef, this is our parents' beef, and it's ridiculous that we've taken this on. So I've sent her this, and she's responded straight away, I think saying something along the lines of she saw the message but it's not coming up on her phone. But she basically said that it's an issue that I need to sort out with him, meaning her brother, because obviously, like I said, brother didn't respond back with, a meeting or Zoom date or whatever he wanted to arrange. So I took that to heart, so she said what she's had to say in the message, and I've just had to respond back saying, listen, this is ridiculous, I'm gonna insert it so you can read it for yourself, but that was my response, and I just got left on scene. She didn't even respond back, so yeah. So this all happened on the 13th of January of 2021, and the next day, which was the 14th of January, we had a 1 week, which is something that Guardians usually do when someone passes away. We will hold a 1 week, a week after the person has passed, with the can't remember who opened the door because it definitely wasn't on me. But someone opened the door and lo and behold, guess who was standing there? My mum's sister.
You people allowed that. Oh.
For part 4 coming very, very soon. This is part 3 of how my
Hey. Please let me rest before we listen to part 4. I can't. I don't want to talk now. I have to take it one by one. No, I refuse to talk. Hey, why am I smiling? It's not funny. It's not funny. It's not funny. This woman is saying emotional. This one, witches, activities of witches. When people are in a coven, this is how they move. This is how they roll. You are speaking English there. Ha! God, oh, have mercy on your children. Oh, I cover myself, I cover my family with the blood of Jesus. They will not see my blood, they will not see my family's blood to drink. They will drink their children's blood and their own blood in the name of Jesus. Chikekeme. Ooh. You see all those people that used to say that, they are your family now. Why will you not be talking to? I used to, if you are just coming, you watch the whole thing and hear for yourself. We are still talking about Ifunaya. I'll talk about a story. So I say I must start this series. Family is not by we came from the same mother and family. No, the same mother and father. Or I'm married to somebody. You can be married to your enemy. In this life, you can be married to your own enemy that wants to sacrifice you in their altar. You just did there. I beg. Let's listen to part 4. Oh, this is my phone.
of how my auntie unalived my parents, not physically.
Because it's not physically now.
So my auntie's come through the door now and
Okay, let's stay like this. Please like the live stream, guys.
little corridor before you enter my living room. So she's walked through the corridor and she's standing by the entrance of the living room. So everyone literally has turned their head and he's looking at my auntie. You can imagine how everyone's feeling. There was so many different emotions in that room. I, for one, was really, really shocked. So she proceeded to come inside and she sat down on the sofa, and opposite the sofa was where my mum was sitting in her wheelchair. And honestly, my mum didn't utter a word. All my mum done was just burst into tears. So my mum was just crying, you know, people were trying to console her, and all my auntie kept doing was just making noises like, that's all she just kept doing. I would also like to note that what my auntie was wearing wasn't, you know, something that you would wear to visit.
She came to rejoice now.
Basically, she was wearing jeans and trainers.
She came to see that her job has been fully done.
So anyway, she's just sitting there making those noises, and she literally was there for 20 to 25 minutes. And she said to my mum that she's going to take her leave.
Please like the live stream, guys.
She came to see if it's really true that my dad has passed away and got her answer. So she left. So moving on to the following month, which was February, that was the month of my dad's funeral. It was a really, really tough month. So before the funeral directors were so amazing, you know. They allowed my mum to come say her last goodbyes to my dad because, like I said previously, she wasn't able to view my dad's body. So I'm going to insert the picture of my mum, you know, saying her last goodbye to my dad. And that was so hard to watch because at that precise time, all that was going through my mind is all the conversations my mum and dad used to have in presence of me and my brother, of their plans and their goals and ambition to, you know, their retirement plan and them going back to Ghana. And yeah, man.
So sure.
It was hard. It was so hard. It was so hard. Like, honestly, see my mum processing all of, you know, what was going on. But anyways, we gave him the befitting funeral that he deserved. That day was so beautiful. It was so beautiful. So we buried my dad now, and you can only imagine how hard it was to get back, you know, to our normal lives. See my mum trying to cope without my dad. very, very strong. So because my mum became bedbound and her health was declining, social services had to get involved, meaning adult social services, you know, to assess my mum and see her needs, etc. So they got involved and they said that my mum needs 24-hour care because of the extent of, you know, her condition. So carers were allocated to my mum morning, noon and evening on rotation. So they would come and help my mum in the morning or help my mum get ready for dialysis, and then transport will come and pick my mum up and take her to dialysis and so on and so forth. So that was happening until one day my mum got really, really bad infection in her back, and I believe that was due to her being bedbound, because at that point she was literally in one position. So you can imagine the damage that was doing to her body. So yeah, so the infection in my mum's back was getting really worse, and you know, social services once again and a few other healthcare professionals got involved and said, do you know what, your mum needs to be moved into a specialised home. And guys, honestly, when they told us that news, meaning me and my brother, that's when I was like, because I was like, why is this happening? Like, my dad's gone. Now my mum's health is declining so bad. Like, I was really tired, guys, honestly. I was tired. I was drained. You know, on numerous occasions when my mum got moved to this home, I had to, you know, attend so many meetings with, you know, these social workers and healthcare professionals. So whenever we would be in these meetings and they would show like my mum's conditions, like the pictures, and explain like what my mum is going through and stuff, it would just take me back, you know, to everything my mum and dad endured in the hands of my auntie and my cousin. So anyways, now my mum is in this home. I believe she was in the home for 6 months, and one day, like, they took her to dialysis on the Thursday, and when she has dialysis, it's in Henry's Hospital, so she had dialysis, and unfortunately her blood pressure was really, really low, and then she became unconscious, and they had to put mum on oxygen, and me and my brother were just hoping and praying that my mum would pull through. But unfortunately, on the 9th of November 2024, just 3 days before my birthday, my mum passed away. And the fact that me and my brother witnessed my mum taking her last breath will stay with me forever. So after my mum passed, me and my brother had to, you know, come up with funds in order for us to bury her. So we decided to do a GoFundMe page, and I posted it up on my stories on Instagram, and I looked at views, you know, my stories, and who do I see? My girl cousin viewing the story. It really shocked me because I didn't get no, you know, condolence message from her, even though she saw, you know, that I just lost my mum. And I didn't get no message from her siblings, nothing whatsoever. And it really, really hurts me to know that I have cousins out there, first cousins, and that you know, don't want nothing to do with my brother. For what reason? I can't tell you. I don't even know why. They've taken on their mother's beef and taken it as if it's their own beef. And you're beefing your cousins that have nothing to do with it. It doesn't make sense to me. But yeah. So yeah, that's the end of, you know, my mum and dad's story. Thank you for every single one of you that has watched each and every part of this. I've done this to raise awareness on, you know, sibling rivalry, envious, jealousy, and just to put my mum and dad's story out there. And I just want to let you know this is not the end. Stay tuned, because I'll be updating you guys on what's coming next. I have so many announcements coming up, so stay tuned. This is just the beginning.
You know, may their soul rest in peace. When you see such stories, it will look like Nollywood, but it is real life. It is real life. Please like this video, guys. I don't even have anything I want to say right now. I'm gonna leave the live stream because we've done about 1 hour. And I'll do the analysis. So if you're not subscribed to this channel, please subscribe to the channel. It's a whole lot. This is a whole lot. But I will just conclude by saying that when people have animosity, or you suspect that people have any slight animosity towards you, don't wait for them to finish you. Because if they do something the first time against you, they are going to do it the second time, they are going to do it the third time, because they want to finish you. They want to finish you. It doesn't matter how much of a good person you are. Evil people are evil because it is their nature. It's not anything that you did. You don't have to do an evil person anything. You don't have to offend them to carry out their evil activities. No. No. An evil person is evil. So many parts of this story that like I said, I have to take my time and do it one by one. It's not something I'm going to rush. I will not rush it. But I just want to talk on this live stream before I go off. You can be a very good person. You do good for everybody. You do that. You do that. Doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything. And a lot of times, the kind of society we live in Africa, people will gaslight you. You will be saying, this is what these people did to me. They will gaslight you. So don't think that people now come and tell you, they'll say, is it not your sister? Is it not your mother? Is it not your father? Meanwhile, they are demons. They are demons. But the society we live in, they will gaslight you. But you that you know your experience, you know your real lived experience, you know what they did to you, you know what they did to somebody that you love, use your HK. Because people will always support bad behavior. They'll say, now so the person they be. Meanwhile, the person they do evil. Everybody they say this person is an evil person. They will never ever tell that person to take accountability, because I don't understand. I don't want to get upset. I don't understand why the family never asked the sister that, why are you reporting your own blood sister to the UK government? You did that one. They scaled through. You now set them up and accuse them of organ trafficking your own blood sister. Then you people are shining it. What is she doing in your house? For God's sake. You are still shining it to such an individual? I don't understand. Then you are still wanting to look for a relationship. Then they do relationship with snake. I don't understand though. Alligator have turned to pets. That alligator will not be your pets. Because why? You want to be you will always be a villain in somebody's story. So don't be the one that they will kill. Before they kill them. Before they take you out, take all of them out. Rubbish. Because if you are because you know what they'll tell you? They'll say, the Bible says we should forgive. You now forgive, and I'm not saying don't forgive, but forgiveness does not mean reconciliation. Okay, ma'am. Forgiveness does not mean reconciliation. I can forgive you in my heart. I have absolutely no bell. I don't have anything against you. But I don't. What are we sitting down to talk about? You is it until not me until the person becomes a sacrifice? That's what they did. They kill father, they kill mother. After they've done everything, you accuse them. Hey. You see this wickedness. You will think that this story happened in 1980 something, like the live stream. It happened in 2021, 2024. All of you that they'll be gaslighting you. You know that this person is an evil person, evil genius. Then you now surround yourself with their coven members, people that they've given them targets on how many people to bring their blood. You to be Mr. and Mrs. Nice Girl, Mr. and Mrs. Nice Man. They will clap for you. They will use you. Before they kill them. Then they will now know that it's not everybody. When they did the first evil, you are waiting for them to do the second one. You are waiting because you are Mrs. Nice. Oh no, it's my sister. It's my this one. I said, if Unaya's story is going to bring a lot of us to begin to talk about these things. you give them the chance, if you give them the chance, they'll use you to do toothpick and suya. I did a video where I was talking about household enemies and household wickedness. I don't think there's any other good example than this one. If Unaya case they smile for if Unaya case they learn work for these Ghanaian people hands. Now wow. Now that's now it's if you talk with us. Please like the live stream. Nariwa. People who are supposed to don't run comot. What's the time? I don't have enough time. You pastor speaking English. The woman even came to the father's burial to actually see that what she had done had taking effect. She came. Oh, when I was saying that the enemies of my mother's house, enemies of my father's house, not use and play. Go and watch that video. Pray that prayer with your life. Anybody when they carry my name, they walk out anywhere. Now that person and the native doctor, now all of them together, they go die put. Anybody, I don't play. Oh, I can laugh. I know they play reach down one. Carry my name, go anywhere. You and the native doctor plus whoever they do the juju or anything. Una come say me now na mama. Rubbish. And those type of people, they hell. Make I not to talk. I don't want to talk. I'm not ready to talk my own story. Well, I'm ready. Wickedness in high, low, everywhere. Wickedness, wicked people. More than they shine teeth with them, will be laughing with them, be thinking that when you think because you're a good person, they will not be good to you. They'll kill you. They'll use you to do beef suya. Never know. Can you imagine? I'm traumatized by this story. I just stay traumatized. I don't see the story for this thing since so. Before this Ifunanya story, I think she posted her video 3 days before Ifunanya started posting her video. I just said, no, this is too dark for me. It was just yesterday I sat down and said, let me watch the thing. I just opened my mouth and said, it shocked me. The thing shocked me. Wicked people. Especially when it's your siblings. That kind one, it does not have any rival. I have 5 more minutes. I'm going to stop this live stream. It doesn't have any rival. Anyway, I hope you learned 1 or 2 things. I'm going to start the analysis step by step. Maybe this evening. Right now, I want to go and rest because it's a lot. I want to go and pray over my own life. You know, all these stories is not to hear. It's when you hear, you go and pray. Yes, because I had myself maybe be going through worse than waiting this girl just talk. So I will go pray for my own head. Say, God, my dear Lord Jesus, anybody when they walk out for my name, now let me my mama get another one. Make all of them plus the native doctor plus the person children. Now all of them go use their head, carry what they do. I know they find person trouble. My life is simple. But if you cross your boundary, you're gonna say not that simple like that. This world is a wicked place. Your own sibling, your own sister. Some people now their own wife or their own husbands. Now they said then give whoever. Open your eye, Anyway, thank you so much, guys. If you like, say, I don't believe in all this type of thing. Now you sabi. Nobody is fighting you whether you should not. I'm just grateful to God. You know, one thing I'm happy about these stories is that people who are naive, Please like the live stream for me now, beg. Mona like am. People are naive. These stories, if Unaya the unspoken truth. Oh, let me show her TikTok page, please. Follow her on TikTok. Oh, this is her page, the unspoken truth on TikTok. Please follow her. They are bringing out these stories. But you know, when we were growing up, we had movies to watch. They say Nollywood. Sorry, guys, excuse me. Like this video, guys. They say Nollywood. Now, this new generation don't really have all those type of, so all these type of stories will make you environmentally aware. It will give you environmental awareness. Environmental, you know, some things is until certain situations happen that you not say he, huh, 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 huh. That's what these people be. So all these kind of stories would help you know how to arrange yourself, because a lot of us were too lax. We're too simple-minded. And in this world, especially Africa, you know, in the Western world, they have their own issues. But you see, in Africa, if you are simple-minded, sorry guys, if you are simple-minded, they will take you out. I need to end the live stream. Anyway, come back in the evening, guys. I'll post the analysis. Bye.